The origin of this project we are today here is actually a competition that we did together, the Dürig Architects and us, and Topotek 1 from Berlin. And this competition, actually it's very unusual to have a competition for a sports ground. Normally sports grounds are things that are not done by designers, you know, are things that just some administrative people from the city do. You know, they just arrange some playgrounds, some football fields and tennis fields and whatever. But in this case, they wanted something more interesting, better, or more unusual, because they thought this area here, that is around this sports area, is a difficult neighborhood for Swiss standards at least, and they wanted to have something that is not only a sports ground but also the center. The spiritual center, if you want, of this neighborhood, or something they can identify with. They only have that and no one else. So, and as you might know, when the Swiss competitions, they have, instead of having a number like you do in Germany, you have to name them, because they're anonymous. So instead of having a secret number, you have a secret name. You name them, you give them a name. And one of the first things when Jean-Pierre and me, when we walked through this area, before starting the competition, the first thing we said is actually these sports areas are this kind of everlasting, always the same spaces. So that's the reason we call the competition. Also, the whole idea starts with the idea that this is an evergreen place, a place that is always the same. That is, it's not natural in the sense that it would change with the dynamism of nature, but it would be always the same. And that green is actually the dominating picture, the dominating color. And as Jean-Pierre and us, we both like also exaggeration, I would say. We like to tune things to a certain visibility. We tune this idea of the evergreen to the highest possible translation into the real world. The other idea behind well, one was this idea of the color. The other idea was the idea of planes. We said the whole thing is actually planes. That's one of the reasons why the building is this kind of plane, if you want. Yeah, and it has also this almost plain material. It's like an old Dornier kind of airplane. So it's actually a plane. And also it's the reason why the baseball is sunken, so that you have this feeling of plates, if you want. But it's always it's not about three-dimensional things. Yeah, and everything that is in the end then three-dimensional is kind of translucent, transparent. And this translucency and transparency was something that we thought would be interesting to play with, because football and sports has also to do with looking at people, with voyeurism as well, and being seen and show yourself. And this kind of mediatic quality of sport was something that we tried to incorporate in these fences. These fences have two layers. One layer is a dark green, the other layer is a light yellowish green, so that you have a different impression being inside the sports field than you have from outside. And you always get this kind of moiré, this blurry sensation when you watch through, that is like almost like a screen that you look at. So this kind of ideas were behind this competition. The third thing that was of important was the arrangement of the fields, because we thought, how shall we arrange them? And we said, actually, if you look at the fields, they are like little blocks, like it's like a little city. You have like a north-south and a east-west axis that structures the city, and then you have a main square where the big bench is, where people gather together, where the entrance to the main building is, so that in the end, and then between the fields you have little alleys, little streets, so that you have also a hierarchy of spaces like in a city, and something that in the rest of this area is actually missing, because it's a quite post-war kind of 60s parkish structure. So we actually do a block city in this kind of parkish structure, if you want, that works with the elements of a traditional European city, the square or a connection of different squares and streets.